Hi everyone, this is Kelly Beard, and I am here today with a good friend and colleague, Nancy Hartline. I specialize in shamanic astrology, or cycles and patterns, whereas Nancy is a numerologist who specializes in helping people understand their life cycles, their talents and potentials, and most especially the right time for action, whether in professional matters or personal transitions. We are so excited about the initial response to our August forecast, and going forward we have created a designated YouTube channel for Astro-Numbers. So that is where you can find us going forward. And we really appreciate everyone's energy and support as we embark on this new venture together. So let's get right into September 2015. Nancy, can you tell us a little more about the numbers and how they're guiding and supporting us in this month of September?
Kelly, it's my great pleasure to be joining you in this venture and to offer everyone tuning in the big picture of what is happening cosmically and vibrationally this September 2015, which promises to be a pretty powerful month. The number energies always peak in September of every year, and this September we are transiting the number 8. It has the potential to influence our world and you in a big way, as it's considered the number of mastery. It's also considered the number of money, sex, and power. The number 8 is synonymous with large scale, and that's exactly what it is. It's a big scale. So everything in the areas of money, sex, and power, and also justice that would be out of balance in our world and in our lives comes up to be reviewed and corrected. So we will all universally and individually be going through some kind of a tipping point. If we look at a picture of an infinity symbol, which is actually the number 8 on its side, we can see that at the far end point, this is where we would be this month, and that the energy goes as far as it can go, and then it turns around and begins to descend back to center. And there are 3 days in September when the 8 energy is at its peak universally. Wednesday, September 9th, Friday, September 18th, and Sunday, September 27th. Now the 27th has some really interesting aspects to it, which I will be talking about at the end of this program, so stay tuned. And the bottom line for this month is that there is a big energy shift from a numerology standpoint, but we may not feel it initially. Ultimately, though, it's going to affect all of us in one way or another. And Kelly, I understand that astrologically speaking, we have corresponding shifts going on as well. So please fill us in.
Absolutely, Nancy. As usual, we are in such alignment because the planets too indicate much energetic support for both inner mastery and outer changes. It is all connected. So essentially this month I've got a couple of things to put on your radar. One is that there are several planetary direction changes. Venus, Sirius, and Pluto are going to go forward while Mercury is going to go backwards. And we are having the upcoming eclipses, which do happen every year, but we're coming up on the next round. And finally, Jupiter and Saturn are getting together, which doesn't happen that often and is a big deal, and I think also speaks to what you were talking about in terms of the large scale, because they're the social planets that move us all along in kind of larger groups, so we're all feeling this. And I am going to get into more details about that too and the other years that correspond with now, as it were. So I'm just wondering what else is supported by the numbers before we get too deep into planets.
Well, Kelly, as I previously mentioned, with the shifts that are taking place, we may not see the end results for a number of months, especially individually, but there are some things that we may find ourselves choosing to do in September. And one is finding balance in male-female energies within ourselves and our external relationships. Also finding balance in our financial flow and seeking justice, especially if you have any issues that are related to the law and the court systems. I'm showing the illustration from the Thoth Tarot deck, which illustrates the principle of balance. It's the card for the Two of Discs, which actually represents material supply. And in this illustration, we see a figure 8 formed by the serpent, and within both circles, the balance of male-female energies, represented by the yin and yang symbols. This illustrates the principle that everything is always changing and transforming in the process of seeking balance. As we have in our bodies homeostasis, our bodies are always seeking to be in balance and health, is also, as I know you all know, is represented in our external world. But we will now have probably a much clearer vision this month of what internally and externally needs to be balanced, and then we can go ahead and start working on those issues. So in addition to the number guidance, Kelly, what activities do the planets suggest for us this month?
Well, that sounds wonderful, Nan, and we do have a lot of support. There are many things we can do to integrate what you've already talked about, because a lot of what you're talking about is very deep, specific issues and personal for everybody. So all self-care and getting grounded is something that I think we could really use a big dose of, and that moving from the Leo energy into the Virgo energy is going to assist us with. And so anything nurturing, self-healing, rest and rejuvenation, body work, like massage, Reiki, reflexology, anything that gets you back in alignment, back in balance. And again, the planets are really supporting that. And my personal advice is that when the energy is low, be still, and when the energy is there, go for it. Pre-harvest, where we're at right now, before we get to fall equinox, officially September 23rd this year, that's the time to really start thinking of the things that would make you most ecstatic if they were clean and clear and clutter-free. So this is the time to get organized, clean up, clear space for the new that you've already put in motion. So it's going to come in. We want to make space for it now. And removing or releasing anything, again, just clear the clutter and get lighter, improving your being, your environment, anything that prepares you for action. It may not quite be action time till October, November, but right now it's time to prepare for that. So a daily practice of any kind is my third suggestion: meditation, prayer, light field activations, mantras or chants, yoga, walking, running, any kind of exercise. My thing is daily prevents the overloads or the overwhelm. So it's just really important to take 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. It doesn't have to be long. What it has to be is for you, unified for you. So I think there are some other things about the number 8 that Nancy can share with us in terms of challenges and benefits that go with that number.
Kelly, I love your suggestions. In fact, I'm planning to implement a number of them myself. And with regard to the challenges of the number 8, it is a very strong energy, as I've already mentioned, that we often associate it with heads of corporations or governments or with star athletes. And to manage the energy of 8 requires endurance, stamina, and focus, and dedication to the task at hand. So it's very, very labor intensive. It actually corresponds as the number 8 to the planet Saturn, which I believe is the taskmaker. And we need to watch getting so immersed in our work that we overlook the need for play and to replenish our energies. We need to keep a tight rein on our finances because 8 demands fiscal responsibility. Thirdly, 8 demands fairness and justice, so it helps us make an extra effort to be fair-minded and equitable in all of our dealings. Now, there are benefits to the number 8 that we can reap this month of harvest, and one of them is that it is the balancing energy, which I've mentioned, and it will rein in what is out of balance. So the outcomes may take a while to show up, but from a big picture standpoint in the world, I do believe that we are likely to see some shifts in governments and or changes in banking, financial markets, or currency valuations take place during September and most likely even into October. So all of those are beyond the control of each one of you individually, And that's why listening to the messages you receive, such as from this video forecast, and then tuning in and following your own inner guidance and inclinations is always the best policy. So remember, there are messages here for you. Pay attention when you get that little vibe, because that is the universe telling you to go ahead, listen, and implement the action that's called for. Now, the personal number that you're transiting is key to how eighth influence may show up for you, either this month or in the next several months. To find your personal month number, this is a quick summary. You add the numbers of the month and day of your birth to the number 8, which is our universal year number, and reduce the sum to a single digit. The sum is both your personal year number and your personal month number for September. So people who are transiting the number 2, the number 5, the number 8, or the number 9 personal month numbers are more likely to experience some kind of change in September. And even unplanned change can end up being an enormous blessing if you keep an open mind. So be sure that you stay out of fear and look for the blessing in everything that happens in your life. Now, Kelly, what challenges might we be confronting from a planetary standpoint?
Well, Nan, we have a couple of really important things happening this month, not the least of which is that we are coming up on harvest time for the annual cycle, and lots of things sort of come to a head at this time. Now, when I talk about the planetary direction changes, that's a lot. That's kind of hard on your nervous system. We have to, again, get grounded in our bodies so that we are present and really making the best decisions possible with the information that we have. So at this time, you know, when there's several simultaneous changes, your nervous system, mental anxiety, confusion can be some of the challenges. Venus retrograde is still in process, I want to remind you, so communication and relationships, personal or professional, can be challenged right now. And we have the upcoming Mercury retrograde in Libra, which is also relationship or partnership, collaboration related. And so any cracks in these things are being revealed. And so it's okay that it may be a little stressful and confusing at this time. It is bringing it into your awareness. Like I said, you don't really want to make too many long-term decisions before mid-October forward. And the big things that are changing, Jupiter and Saturn getting together in Virgo and Sag, that's an earth sign and a fire sign. So there's lots we can do with that, but at the same time, they're elements that take very specific ways to work with. So you're getting, because of Jupiter, you're getting your beliefs, and Saturn is your reality congruent. Basically, this is alignment time, and there is a challenge to that pushes us out of our comfort zone and into new territory. But it's about being practical, that Virgo side of you, and still living your truth. That Sag side of you that is optimistic and faithful and believes that the process is worth it and worth continuing on. Now, the eclipses are coming up, and I just want to remind you that 1995 to 97 is part of the Aries Libra series that is culminating now, and the new series that's starting with Virgo Pisces is from 1997 to 98. So that whole little window, we've all been feeling the vibe for a minute now, from 95 to 98-ish, that cycle is back. And we really have a lot of support for changing things. But Aries Libra has to do with our individual selves within the context of relationships, while Virgo Pisces has to do with our human self, the spirit in a human body, and really owning that, understanding how that works. And so we're getting recalibrated in both those areas. Eclipses interrupt the flow of light and allow us to hit the reset button in so many ways and with ease. This is what I tell people with eclipses. They come every year, so we have access to energy for change every year. So anything you're ready to change, change. Use the energy that's supported and let the planets do the heavy lifting, because the benefits are just so worth it. You're totally releasing your old self and getting to know your new self. Think of it as the 2015 model and see where your basic structure is perfect, whole, and complete, but you're improving, you're spiraling up, you're going to a new level, and you got to get to know that level. It is a new level. Number 2, we're going to break some long-standing bad habits, release any negative thought patterns, and get away from obsolete stories that are simply no longer true. a lot of things that were true yesterday are just simply not true today. And that's what eclipses help us do. They help us break the pattern and start a new pattern completely fresh. And the Jupiter-Saturn thing is huge. It's just affecting a lot of people. So you do sort of feel it personally. The people who have a really strong Gemini, Sagittarius, or Virgo, Pisces in your chart, you guys are going to feel it the most, but that's okay. You're also going to make a lot of progress with that energy of support. And it is an expand, consolidate thing, and because they're together, you have to do both. So renewing and strengthening, fortifying your structure and foundation, that's all Saturn's job. And I heard you say taskmaster earlier. There's lots of things about Saturn, but most of it is to help you be grounded and protected. So it is related to boundaries and your limits, your personal limits, and knowing what those are. And often when Jupiter gets involved, we can get overly optimistic. And so in this case, I'm just going to suggest consolidate that which has become excessive, really consolidate and get down to the basic essentials. And those things that have been really confined and restricted over long, let those expand and get some fresh air, some fresh fire, some fresh energy moving through those areas of your life. And that would be, we want to expand in the Virgo section, which means doing your body routine in a new way. And we want to consolidate in the Sagittarius section, which may be kind of giving your power away where your spirituality or your faith or your religion, those things, their philosophy is concerned. We want to own our truth and we want to write our own stories. And I feel tremendously supported for this harvest to take everything that we've been able to pull together in the last 9 months and get the best out of that. So I feel tremendously supported by the 8 energy as well as the planets. I know there's lots of endings that go along with these new beginnings. I just think we need to be grounded, be present. Be present in your body. So Nan, do you have any additional advice for this month?
Kelly, I am so excited about all of the advice you gave, first of all, and I am really looking forward to setting my own reset button. And who doesn't like the opportunity for a do-over? So this is really great, exciting news. And part of the advice that I have is for everyone, no matter what is happening in your life, remember you do have that opportunity to hit the reset button. And your life is going to go a lot easier if you stay out of fear. No matter what's happening in the world, no matter what's happening in your own life, to keep your thoughts and your words positive and see everything as a gift, a blessing, and a doorway to a much better life for yourself. Also, to stay present in the moment, again, avoiding the fear of what if this happens or engaging in emotional fallout from things that happened in the past. Just stay in your present and make it the best moment you can possibly make it, regardless of what is happening. And the third, just to reiterate what Kelly and I have both mentioned, to take good care of your body with attention to proper diet, rest, exercise, and remember that 8 is the number of the athlete. And athletes who excel are the ones who make it a point to follow a healthy lifestyle. And last of all, I would like to share something that I noticed in doing my research for the month's energy report. I had mentioned September 27th being a very special day, and we are transiting that day the compound number 44, which is the number of angels and divine protection. Now, in Tarot, and Kelly and I both do a lot of oracle card research and readings. We use a number of decks, but in the original Universal Tarot, the number 44, which is being shown here, shows a man sitting under a tree, and he's looking at 3 cups. And those cups represent his material supply. Now, he might be thinking that he has enough. He might be thinking he doesn't have enough. But the thing is that he's not looking up. And over him is the hand of God offering him another cup. He needs to look up and to recognize the spiritual source of all supply. And this is what the number 8 is all about. It's the 2 circles, heaven and earth. So on this day especially, it can be very, very auspicious to take some time for prayer, meditation, to be in gratitude for all the good that's in your life, But think about what else would make your life really special and wonderful, and to give thanks for that coming in, and to do whatever prayer or ritual that is in alignment with your own spiritual practice. And know that you are partnering with the universe again for a better, happier life. And with that, Kelly, what would you add as advice for everyone this September?
Oh, I have just a little bit more to share with you. I would love to add to this September 27th magic, because that is also the day of our Aries super full moon and lunar eclipse. And let me just address this really quick. A super moon is in more direct alignment with the Earth and usually closer. We're going to have an exact one in 2016, which is kind of rare. The last one we had was in 2011. But these little ones in between, like I said, they do sort of intensify things because they're a little closer to Earth and in more exact alignment. But in the Aries Libra eclipse series, which by the way, were all full moon lunar eclipses, this is number 5 of 6. So we have one more to go. And this means that we are completing. This little 20-year cycle has been clearing a lot of different things about how we work our independence and how we relate with each other and with Mother Earth. It is huge. And we're getting to reset those buttons and kind of not do it that way, the way we've historically done it. Do it in an all new way. And the Virgo Pisces series is going to let us ground it in our physical reality. So that's really important. But for that, September 27th day, you really can release so much and align yourself in such a new way to be supported going forward in your individual pursuits as well as your relationships. And I just think that brings us right back to that 8 energy and infinity and moving through the cycles and coming back to center. So on another level, you could also look at the lunar eclipse and the full moon in Aries as the culmination of the seeds you planted in April of 2015. Can you believe it's been 6 months? So reflect on spring as you assess your fall harvest. This is what grows out of your efforts between then and now, and what will support you going forward. So I did want to post a couple of questions here for you to just contemplate, and I wanted to also offer everyone the lunar PDFs, the lunar tools for this eclipse series as your freebie for joining the E-List. And so we'll talk a little more about that in closing. But some questions to consider is, what is started but not finished? And are you distracted by others' dramas or fully engaged in your own life? Very important. How balanced is your give and take with others? What is motivating your actions at this time? Basically, why do you want what you want? We want to purify and distill those back to their essence. So ultimately, my 3 pieces of advice would be: go with it. Get okay with the endings and the permanent change. Trust and release willingly. All non-essential. Release it lovingly, willingly, with gratitude. Number 2, get grounded and organized in your day-to-day rhythm. It is changing. Don't be upset about the little bumps in the road. Just keep practicing. It will get easier. And implement small changes to your routine so that you're not overwhelmed and fail. You know, we want to support the new direction, but maybe you can only do one thing right now. That's okay. That's perfect. Give some special attention to your body as well as your beliefs. How they are related and express you. You know, your beliefs and your body are an expression of you. And we really want to get to the place where we've released survival mode thinking for self-preservation, and where we are kind of whole between our body, mind, and spirit. And deep breaths all around. So you can find me at karmictools.wordpress.com, where you can join the Venus Circle for ongoing monthly support. That is my only kind of live circle that I work with, and we have many custom tools and resources to guide you through this intense yet wonderful time. So I would love to offer you September lunar tools free for joining the E-List or going to the WordPress site and following my blog. And Nancy, any closing remarks or anything you'd like to share with us in one last moment?
First of all, Kelly, I just want to say it's always a pleasure to find out how the numbers and the planets are in such synchronicity. And I also want to encourage everyone to go to your website and partake of all the wonderful offerings that are there, because I know of no one more generous than you, Kelly, and there are so many tools that you offer for free, plus your wonderful Venus Circle and other activities. So please, everyone, check out Kelly. And if you'd like to know more about numbers, you can sign up for my monthly bulletins by going to www.nancyhartline.com, and that's Nancy, HARTLINE.com. And when you sign up to be a subscriber, you can get your free Secrets of Your Birthday download. And also, when you go to my website, if you're called, you can enroll for my Divine Life Community membership. There you will receive your personal planning, calendar, and activity guide based on the month and day of your birth, along with additional monthly bulletins, oracle readings, and also product discounts. So this month, membership in the Divine Life Community is only $8 for the remainder of the year. So I do invite you to come to my website and check it out. Until next month, Kelly and I thank you for being with us, and we both urge you to listen to your inner guidance, trust yourself, and trust your heart in all that you do, and enjoy the challenges of your journey on this amazing planet. So Kelly, join me in saying Namaste.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, and namaste.